Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jesse, and today I'm kicking off another reading vlog. This time I'm going to be reading books titled with Taylor Swift song titles. At the time of filming this video, I am a week out from the release of the Tortured Poets Department. I always want to say Tortured Poets Society. I know that's not correct, but my mind just like twists it every time. I'm very much so highly anticipating this next album release. I have no idea what to expect. I've heard that it's like Red meets Reputation, and that has me really intrigued. I don't know how true that's gonna be, but I did see an article with that as like the headline, and I was very intrigued by that. I was kind of low-key hoping for something more in the folklore Evermore lane, but I'm intrigued regardless. I'm excited to see what she delivers with this new album. So sort of in honor of that release and my excitement for that album, I thought it would be fun to read some books titled with Taylor Swift song titles. As I've been browsing books lately, which as I do, that's one of my hobbies outside of reading, is just book browsing. I love a good book browse, but in doing so, I've noticed a lot of books with Taylor Swift song titles as book titles, and I just thought it would be like a fun concept for a vlog. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be reading a total of 3 books within this video. None of them I own. I'm going to be getting all of them from my library. I'm going to head to the library. Let's go. The first book that I chose for this video and picked up from the library is called Wonderland. Wonderland is a title on 1989, it's a track on 1989. I think I've finally decided what I want kind of my challenge to be throughout this video concept, and that's gonna be if I feel like the title of this Taylor Swift song is fitting for this story, or if I feel like there's another Taylor Swift song title that would be more fitting for the story. Even though I don't think when they went to title this book that they intentionally were like, yes, let's name the book Wonderland after the Taylor Swift song Wonderland. Like, I don't think that that was the thinking behind this title in particular. Just to be clear, like, I don't think that this book is named after the Taylor Swift song, but still, I do want to see if I feel like the Wonderland song vibe is fitting to the story, or if I feel like there's another song that feels more fitting to this book. In this book, we are following Orla and Shaw, and they are moving their family away from like the big city life into a much more isolated situation, kind of more in the country. But when they move in, strange things begin to happen, and they feel like someone or something is calling upon them to help them with something. That's the vibe that I'm catching so far. I'm 154 pages in so far, and truth be told, not a lot has happened yet. There have been some like weird, eerie things pop up, but truthfully there's not been a lot of progression with the plot itself, and truth be told, I feel like that's this book's biggest downfall so far. Not a lot has happened, and the things that have happened have just felt so mundane. Not to say that mundane is a bad thing necessarily, but I just think if you're going to market your book as like a thriller horror situation, then you need to have things happening. There have been some like questionable things, but like nothing that's like got my heart racing, nothing that's made me nervous. It's just felt really boring so far. I haven't felt like DNFing it so far, and I think that that's partially because it is just like such a simple book. Like, it's a very easy read. The writing style itself is not very inventive, not very imaginative, not very creative, which honestly makes it very easy to read. But like some of the descriptions, I'm like, can we please just like add some flavor, make it a little bit more interesting? The road was wet and black, the trees bare and black. Like, that's what I'm dealing with here. That's kind of the writing style, the vibe throughout this book so far. Also, the couple's daughter is so annoying. I feel like she is like running the household, and her name literally has Queen in it. Her name is Eleanor Queen, and it just feels like they go along with everything that she says. And it's just so bothersome for me for some reason. I want to know if anybody else who has read this book felt the same way about that character in particular, because I'm just like, you're annoying, and you're also like running this household. Those are my thoughts on Wonderland. I will definitely keep you guys updated. I'm about to have dinner and then potentially go on a walk. It's starting to get a little bit gray outside, which is not like inspiring me to want to go on a walk, but I've just been like trying to get outside more and be a little bit more active. And I love getting outside and walking and taking care of myself in that way, because I feel like it just like really helps with my mental health. I always see the benefit of it. One of the other books I put on hold is available now at the library, so I need to go pick that up. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, which I am not looking forward to. So those are the things that I'm up to the next few days, but I will keep you guys updated once I finish Wonderland. I made it back from the dentist in one piece. I'm not sure how, because your boy gets anxious when he goes to the dentist. I did not used to be this way. I don't know like what switched. Maybe it's because I've had like a lot of like teeth procedures done as an adult, and so now every time I go to the dentist, I'm a little bit triggered. But I was just in the chair getting my teeth cleaned and I was feeling faint. How much more dramatic can I get? Very dramatic, I can assure you that. But like, boy, pull it together. I don't know what the deal was, but I just was like literally feeling like I was about to pass out. I think I also like weirdly get claustrophobic when somebody's just like all up in my mouth. I'm just like, I start to hyperventilate. It's not great. Anyway, I got myself like a little sweet treat on the way back. This is some kind of like chocolate caramel nut cookie. It looked really interesting, which is why I picked it up. I also got a peanut butter cookie, but I definitely already ate it because I needed to like reduce my anxiety. And the way that you can reduce anxiety sometimes is just like chowing down on cookies. I also was able to finish Wonderland at the dentist because I tend to show up like way too early to my appointments, and so I had tons of time to finish off this book. I feel like I've been initiated into a special club with this book as well because I found a booger in this book while reading it, so that was a nice surprise. Really loved finding a booger in my book. I think the thing that confused me the most is that like it was like in between the pages. It's not like it was just like on the edge of a page, like they just like accidentally like sneezed a booger onto the page. Like they actively had to pick their nose and put it in the middle of the book. But you know what? It's fine. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. I am in my library era now. I'm expecting to find a lot more goodies from here on out. Goodies, yeah. I'm not sure that they qualify as goodies, but I'm gonna call them goodies. Anyway, I finished Wonderland. Overall, I would just categorize this book as bland. I honestly should have DNF'd this book. I have a hard time putting down books and DNFing books when they're just easy to read because it just doesn't feel like that much of a commitment. Like, sure, I could be using this time to be reading something that I'm actually enjoying, but I just like, I didn't care enough to just ditch it. So I didn't ditch it. But like, this book was just so bland. That's the best way to put it. The characters were very one-dimensional. Orla and Shaw, they really only had like one side to their personality. Orla is a ballerina and she makes it known that like that is her entire personality. And then Shaw is a painter and that's like all he is about. The only thing outside of that, one interest, that one character trait, that one personality trait is the fact that they're parents. Like that's all we got from them. So it put them in a very one-dimensional place. And because of that, like you just don't really get interested in the characters. Like they're just so boring and so uninteresting that it's just like hard to get attached to them. And then the child characters were just so annoying. And I think this is such a silly like complaint, and I mentioned this character's name earlier. The character's name is Eleanor Queen. She is like the queen of the household, but like they just overuse her name throughout this story that it just like started to drive me literally crazy because it's just like Eleanor Queen, Eleanor Queen, Eleanor Queen, Eleanor Queen this, Eleanor Queen that, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm tired of hearing the name Eleanor Queen. Can somebody come into my brain and extract it from my brain because it's showing up in my dreams? Like that's where I landed with that situation. There's a major lack of suspense with this book, and the author does try to like plant these seeds of paranoia. It showcases the characters being like really paranoid about different scenarios that are happening around this new house that they've moved to. But there were several factors that like did not allow the suspense to like really grab me personally. I never had a real attachment to any of the characters, so any kind of like suspenseful element that they were about to face just didn't hit. Then the suspense itself like never had an end point. It just had these points where it would like fall off and like lose its suspense. Like it would build you up to thinking that something big was going to happen, and then it would just like fall off and nothing would happen, which I feel like is this book's like biggest downfall, honestly, is that just like next to nothing happens, and the things that do happen, you just like don't care. You don't care at all. At least that's my scenario. I don't want to like speak for other people, but like I just didn't care. I didn't care. I know Taylor Swift has that thing that she jokes around about where it's like not a lot going on at the moment, and then she does in fact have a lot going on at the moment. But this is a scenario where it's like not a lot going on at the moment, and they really mean not a lot going on at the moment because not a lot is going on in here. I'm landing on a 1.5 star rating with this book. I have such a hard time giving that rating to books, like a 1 star at all, but I genuinely feel like it deserves a 1.5. Like that's where I'm gonna land at with it. In terms of the Taylor Swift song Wonderland, I don't feel like it's very fitting with this book. I feel like this book should be retitled Ivy because I feel like the Taylor Swift song Ivy much more fits with this book in terms of like lyrics. I feel like the lyrics actually really match up with different things that happen in this book. I'd meet you where the spirit meets the bones in a faith-forgotten land. In from the snow, your touch brought forth an incandescent glow. Oh, I can't stop you putting roots in my dreamland. Wonderland, my house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered in you. Like, that's just the perfect song for this book. I stopped by the library and picked up 2 of my holds. One of them is for this video, and then this one does not have anything to do with this video, but I will share with you what this book is. But the next book that I am reading for this video, which this book is like super sticky, but it's Look What You Made Me Do. If you didn't know, Taylor Swift has a song called Look What You Made Me Do. It was the lead single off her album Reputation. I remember when I first heard that song, it was so jarring. Like, I was not expecting it at all, but the music video, iconic. And I definitely grew to love Look What You Made Me Do, but I feel like when I first heard it, I just like was not expecting what it was delivering. And so it just like took me some time to process. But once I processed, I'm on board with that song. It's a banger. Is it the best song off of Reputation? Absolutely not. I don't want to know too much going into this book because it is a thriller. And sometimes I feel like with thrillers, the descriptions can give away way too much. I'm excited to read this and see if the song Look What You Made Me Do is fitting for this story. I feel like Look What You Made Me Do could match up well with the thriller, so we will see. Then the other book that I picked up and had on hold, I've had this one on hold for a while and it finally came in. That book is 50 Beasts to Break Your Heart and Other Stories. So it's a short story collection with all these like fairy tale-esque, folktale-esque stories, and I've been wanting to read it for a really long time. I kept seeing it in Barnes & Noble, but I just could not justify picking it up and buying it because I feel like short story collections with me, I really struggle with. But this collection is not by like a bunch of different authors, it's one sole author, so I'm hoping that I end up enjoying it. Now, I need to get out of this car because I am sweating. I feel like I need to go shower now, but I will keep you guys updated on my thoughts on Look What You Made Me Do. Got a new backboard, got new bedding, but you know what remains the same? My mess back there, so just ignore my mess. I've made it pretty far in the book. I'm on chapter 8, I'm on page 215. I will say I'm really insecure when it comes to talking about genres that I'm not like super familiar with, or genres where I don't feel well versed in yet, so I'm insecure in talking about this book because I'm really enjoying it, but I don't know if I was like a thriller fanatic that I would be enjoying this book. I feel like when you're more experienced in a genre, you have a better grasp on different tropes that pop up, different character types that pop up, and obviously I am not like big on thrillers. I would like to be, I would like to get more into them, but in my current reading situation, I am not super well versed on thrillers, so just take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I am really enjoying this book. I really like the concept. In this book, we are following this girl whose sister is actually a serial killer, and she has basically been like manipulated into helping her time and time again, like dispose of the bodies. And it's just a complex book in so many ways. Like, not only is the sibling relationship ultra complex, not only because of the disposing of the bodies and the fact that the sister continues to be manipulated and gets roped in helping with these murders. They also had a complex relationship growing up where one of the sisters was favored over the other. So that obviously like adds another layer to their relationship. And it's just twisted in the fact that like obviously Carrie is an accomplice. Like Carrie, whether she likes it or not, is taking part in covering for her sister and all these like terrible things that her sister has done. And so when it comes down to like your feelings toward Carrie, like there's a part of you that feels bad for her, but then there's a part of you that's also like, but she's helping her sister do all these terrible things. Like, it's just such a like mixed feeling situation. Overall, I'm really enjoying it so far. I feel like it is really suspenseful and it definitely has like grabbed my attention. Obviously, like I easily got through this chunk of this book today, so I am finishing this evening. Like, that's the plan. I will say that I'm a little bit nervous because I don't have like that much of the book left, and I feel like there's a lot to resolve. So I'm eager to see if the author is able to do it in this last little chunk. We will see. video throughout these updates is that this is not the first time somebody has done this video concept. I didn't realize that when I started the video. Then I got to thinking that I should probably like look up and just see if somebody has done this before, just so I can give credit. If somebody has, I did in fact go into this video thinking that I was a unique little butterfly and that nobody had ever done this video, but I was in fact wrong, and that's okay. It's okay to be wrong, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. So after looking it up, 2 other creators have in fact done this video. Karis's Corner and Michelle's Library have both done this video. I will leave links down below in the description to their channels. Go and check them out and show them some love. I finished Look What You Made Me Do. It was really entertaining, obviously in a much more twisted way. Like, it's a very twisted, dark story. I'm not saying I was entertained in like a ha ha hee hee ho ho kind of way, but it was just like a really enjoyable reading experience. I was completely hooked on the storyline, and I also just thought the concept itself was really interesting, and I felt like it was executed really well as well. I feel like the story beats for this one were really interesting too, because I feel like we got some of the bigger reveals pretty early on, but the reason we got like one of the bigger reveals is because it's not necessarily where the story ends. And I really liked that aspect of the story, because usually when you get like the big reveal, like that's when the story is over, but there was still a lot more to explore with the last little bit of the book, and I just really enjoyed that aspect. I thought that it was kind of like a nice little surprise. I genuinely did enjoy this book. I thought it was dark at times. I thought that the sister relationship was just such a complex thing to explore throughout this book. I feel like I've said complex so many times in talking about this book, but it is a very complicated situation. It did sort of tie itself up in a way that felt a little bit convenient. It felt like things were a little bit too easy at the end. I would have liked to have seen much more of a struggle situation, but overall, for what it was, I had a really good time with this book, and I would like to explore more books by this author, honestly. As for the title, Look What You Made Me Do, I honestly feel like this title is very fitting, but other song titles that come to mind, other Taylor Swift song titles that like entered my mind, one is You're On Your Own, Kid. I don't feel like it represents the story necessarily, but I feel like it really represents our main character, Carrie, and just the way that she has kind of felt about her life and how she's been treated and whatnot. And then, of course, the song No Body, No Crime like immediately comes to mind when I think of any kind of thriller, because that's one of Taylor Swift's more thriller-esque songs, so I can't help but think about that song when I think of any kind of thriller, but I don't think it's like the most fitting to the story. I think that honestly, Look What You Made Me Do is the perfect title for this book. Overall, I think that I would give this book like a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. The last and final book that I will be reading for this video is Call It What You Want by Bridget Kimmerer. Taylor Swift has a song called Call It What You Want on her Reputation album. I would actually say that Call It What You Want is pretty high up there on my Taylor Swift song rankings, which actually, before I get to talking about this book and what it's all about, I think I want to just like share my favorite song from each of Taylor Swift's album, so let's do that right now. For debut, I would say either Picture to Burn or Should Have Said No. I feel like both of those songs just like go really hard. For Fearless, I'm gonna say Tell Me Why. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion, but like I love that song. Speak Now, This One Is Easy For Me, Enchanted All The Way. For Red, I think I would say Begin Again. I know that a lot of people like love this album, but I would say it's like not my favorite. I still really like it. It's just like not top tier for me. 1989, on the other hand, is top tier for me. I love this album from beginning to end. I am truly a ride or die for the song New Romantics. I will go to bat for that song. Reputation, I would say delicate, but also Call It What You Want. For Lover, I actually get made fun of for the song that I love the most on this album, but It's Nice to Have a Friend is my favorite song on that album. I just think it's so gentle and sweet, and I've been told that like my personality type just like aligns with that song, so it makes sense that I like it, but I feel like every time I say that that's my favorite song off of Lover, people are like, out of all the songs on that album, that's the one that you're choosing? Yes, it is the one that I'm choosing. I love It's Nice to Have a Friend. For Folklore, I would say, I don't know, I struggle with this one because I love Folklore. I feel like Folklore, she really flexes her writing abilities. Some of my favorite lyrics from Taylor Swift come from Folklore, but I think I just love This Is Me Trying and like what it means, and I think that I like relate to that song the most, so I'm gonna say that song. Evermore is honestly an album that I have not listened to enough. I need to give it like a few more listens to like fully know what my favorite song is on that album, but for now I'm gonna say Champagne Problems is probably my favorite from that album, but that could change after a few more listens. Then finally, Midnights. This is not an album that I loved right away, but the more that I listened to it, the more that I really loved it and appreciated it. I think my favorite song off Midnights is actually You're On Your Own, Kid. I really, really love the lyrics for that one. I just love the emotions that I feel with that song and just the build-up and just... it's a great one. Those are my favorite songs off of each of her albums. Feel free to tell me your favorite songs from each era down below in the comments if you're a Taylor Swift fan. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you. The final book that I'll be reading is Call It What You Want by Bridget Kimmerer. This is my first time reading a contemporary book by Bridget Kimmerer. I've only read fantasy from her, so I think that that's going to be really interesting, a really interesting experience. I will say I'm going into this one a little bit more on the nervous side of things because this is young adult romance, and I historically do not do well with young adult romance. Like, it's just not my vibe, just because I feel like it can often feel very tropey, it can feel very forced. I feel like the love situation itself within YA romances can often just feel very, very rushed, and I need that slow burn romance when it comes to any kind of romance. And I also just feel like I've been trying to like avoid YA contemporary lately. But I do really love Bridget Kimmerer's books. I loved Defy the Night. I love the A Curse So Dark and Lonely series. In this book we are following two characters. I believe we get both of their perspectives. We've got Rob and Megan, and obviously we follow their love story, but they also are going through a lot of things on their own. Rob's dad found himself into some financial trouble and tried to take his life, and in doing that he has major health problems, and Rob and his mom are struggling financially. They're dealing with lots of like lawsuits against their family because of what the dad was involved in, and so they're not only having to take care of the dad, but they're also just like in lots of financial trouble, and so we're following him on that journey and how it affects his life. And we've got Megan, who found herself in a cheating scandal, not like a romance cheating scandal, like was actually cheating on a test scandal and was caught cheating, and she is now like the talk of the school. Like, people just badmouth her constantly, and we follow her and trying to just like kind of clear her name, I think. But then she also has like a complicated situation at home involving her sister and her parents, so I'm eager to find out more about that and just see how their love story ends up happening. My plan is to put my head down and finish this book today. Taylor Swift's album drops tonight, so I want to have this finished before the album drops, just so that I'm fully prepared. I am seeing a movie this evening. I'm seeing another horror movie. Who am I? What have I become? I'm seeing the movie Abigail tonight. I believe it features these people being locked up in a house with a vampire ballerina, so I'm interested to see how I end up feeling about this movie. But other than seeing that later and listening to Taylor Swift's new album this evening, my plan today is to just barrel through this book. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Let's dive into this book. Let's get it read. I'll keep you guys updated on my thoughts. I am once again exposing my messiness. Ignore my messy piles and piles and piles of paperback books behind me. You know what? It's kind of a vibe, but it's just like a little bit on the messy side. Like, this stack is really wonky. It needs some help. I also need some help, apparently. I got to page 222 in Call It What You Want, and consider me shocked to find out the fact that I am really enjoying this book. I was really not expecting to like it that much, to be honest, just because of the fact that like it is a YA romance. I don't do well with YA romances, but I'm really enjoying it. Like, plot twist of all plot twist, I am enjoying this book. I think a big reason for that is the fact that the romance in this book is one that is rather on the slow burn side of things. It took the two main characters 190 pages before they started really acting on their feelings for each other, which to me felt perfect. As somebody who does like things to kind of be a little bit more slow moving when it comes to relationships, that was the perfect amount of time to kind of build up a solid foundation before they started acting on their feelings. So I'm here for it. It's also one of those books where it's not like solely focusing in on the romance. There's so many other things happening in these characters' lives, so it's not like relying on the romance element to carry the story. There's so many other things happening. Also, the main character, Megan's name, is spelled in a way that I've never seen Megan be spelled. My sister's name is Megan, so I'm used to M-E-G-A-N, but this is M-A-E-G-A-N. It's so interesting. I've never seen the name Megan be spelled that way. If your name is Megan and it's spelled this way, let me know down below in the comments. I'm definitely gonna finish before the movie because I don't have too much left. I will say, Rob did just make a decision that I feel like is going to not be so great. It's not gonna turn out so great, so I am eager to see where that goes. The thing that he did, it never ends well. It's not going to end well, and as I was reading it, I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You're already going through it. And I feel like you doing this specific thing is going to cause more chaos in your life, and I just don't want you to open up the door to that because you already have so much chaos going on. I got back from seeing Abigail about an hour ago and I ended up really enjoying it. I will say that like the second half was much more enjoyable than the first half, and it was also just like very bloody, but I mean that's to be expected. It was a vampire movie. And before I went and saw Abigail, I was able to finish Call It What You Want. Unfortunately, I would say that like the ending portion of this book was not the best. I just felt like it was very rushed. It kind of has that very very like explosive finale situation that a lot of YA contemporary books have, and we didn't really get the closure that we needed. Like I felt like things were just like very rushed in the end. Also in terms of the book title, I don't feel like Call It What You Want. That song in particular doesn't feel that fitting to this book for me. I just spent some time trying to find some songs that I feel like fit the vibe of this book, and I would say maybe Daylight, potentially, or I Think He Knows. I think that those two song titles are much more fitting than Call It What You Want, just in terms of like the vibes of those songs. Overall though, I did really enjoy this book. I think that the aspect that I was like hesitant about, like the romance element of it, did not bother me like I was expecting it to, and so that was kind of refreshing to go into this book and like have that be the element that I enjoyed and have other elements be the things that I had problems with. And I feel like the main problem with this one was just the explosive ending. Like I don't mind an explosive ending, but I think I need things to not be rushed, and I need to feel like the ending gives like enough time to kind of tie everything together, and I just felt like things were just so fast-paced at the end, and I didn't really enjoy that. It's 11:05, so I think the new Taylor Swift album should be out on Spotify now. I feel like sometimes it's like slow to release. Oh no, I see it. Is it gonna load? Okay, it's here, it's time. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of a listening party, and I will share my thoughts on the album as a whole. The first song is Fortnite with Post Malone. Here we go. It's softer than I was expecting. This is very Midnights. Okay. It's very mellow. Much more mellow than I was expecting. Wonder if it's gonna pick up here. I'm surprised this is a single. That was a nice song. I don't know why it's a single, but I liked it. The Tortured Poets Department song. Title track. Why is Charlie Puth on this song? Confused. Interesting. This sounds like one of her other songs. What does that remind me of? This reminds me of Mastermind a little bit, just that part right there. No one used to play with me when I was a little kid. My boy only breaks his favorite toys. Ooh, lower register, okay. I like the vibe of this one. Got a very Sky Ferreira feel to it. I like this one. Oh, I like that. Hey, hey. Hey, the lower register, I'm here for it. Come on, Taylor. Come on, Taylor. Ho, ho, ho. I like the ho, 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 ho. Next one we got Down Bad. Interesting. Okay, come on, girl. Dropping the F-bombs, let's go. It's very like, in the car, you know. So Long, London. I feel like I'm in a cathedral right now. This reminds me of It's Nice to Have a Friend. I feel like angels are in my ears right now. I like the writing on this one a lot. This one's really sad, but Daddy, I love him. I'm intrigued by this one. Ooh, I like the backtrack for this one. This one feels like a little folklore kind of. I like this one a lot. Next up, Fresh Out the Slammer. Oh, tempo change? Interesting. It goes into such an interesting place. Now we've got Florida, feat. Florence and the Machine. This one already is really good. I like this one already. Come on, Florence. Let's go. Florida! This is such an interesting song. I liked Florida. Guilty as Sin? Question mark? Ooh, this has a little bit of country twang to it a little bit. Oh, I like that. It's almost like you feel like the song's over and then it just keeps going. Next we've got Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. Ooh, who's afraid of little old me? You should be. I like that line. I really liked that one lyrically. Next we've got I Can Fix Him. No, really I can't. Very vibey so far. Oh, that was weird. It was like, whoa. That one wasn't my favorite, but I liked the vibe. LOML, Love of My Life, ballady. It's gonna make me cry. Aww. Aww. So many feelings. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. This has an interesting backtrack. It's a bit more upbeat. The lyrics are heartbreaking, but I like the like upbeatness of it. I'm so depressed I act like it's my birthday. This might be my favorite. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Very solemn. Bring on the emotions. I'm ready for it. Oh my. The Alchemy. I just feel okay about The Alchemy. Maybe it'll grow on me later on. Clara Bow. The last song. Though I know there's a ton of bonus songs out there. Someday I'll get to listen to them. I feel like that was a solid way to end the album. Okay, the album overall, honestly, to me, feels like a mixture of like folklore and Midnights. It's like if those two got together and had a baby, that's what this album would be, in my opinion. I really like it. I think it's gonna take some time to kind of grow on me, and that's just because like mellowed out music like that takes longer for me to kind of appreciate. It's not that it's bad, it's just a different vibe, and I just kind of had to adjust myself to it. I'm sure I'll like it a lot more after I've listened to it a few more times. But initial thoughts, it's a much more mellow album than I was expecting. I was expecting there to be a few like bop-esque songs on the album, and there's just not that, which I guess I kind of like knew that it would be a much more mellowed album. Just with like the packaging and stuff, it gives off like mellow vibes, that whole black and white soft feel. So maybe I should have expected that a little bit more. If you like really soft, mellow albums with solid songwriting, then you will enjoy this album. My favorite songs off the album, I would say My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, But Daddy I Love Him was really fun. I loved Florida. I also loved Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Those are my favorites off the album. I went to bed last night thinking that I had listened to the entire album, but when I was asleep, Taylor decided to drop a double album. So we've got tons more songs to listen to and react to. I kind of gave up hope on Taylor ever like actually following through with the double album because I feel like I had that theory for 1989. There were so many theories that the Taylor's version of 1989 would be a double album. I got so stuck on that idea that when it didn't happen, I was so upset. So I decided then and there that I would stop like expecting things to happen or get tied up in theories, because when they don't happen, it gets really upsetting. I was not expecting this to be a double album, but I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm very excited. So let's listen and I will share my thoughts. First up, we've got The Black Dog. Woof woof. Again, a little bit more on the slower side. Ooh, I like this one. Yes. Oh, okay, okay. Ooh, I like the screaming part. Oh, I like that part. I wish the entirety of the album sounded like this song. Next, I'm gonna Get You Back. I wanna get it back. I wanna... My bad. That's doing weird things to my ears, so... I don't love the backtrack. This one's like hurting my ears. I'm sure it'd be fine like over a stereo, but like the... is killing my ears. The bridge is making up for the albatross. Ooh, very folklore-esque. I'm here for it. I'm into this one. Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. Interesting. Interesting title. This one's really sad. The lyrics on this one. Well, that song was devastating. How did it end? I'm loving this section of the album much more than the first section of the album. Can I admit that? There's some really pretty vocals on this one, the lyrics. I love this one. So high school. All these titles are really interesting. I already really like the vibe of this one. Okay. Are you gonna marry, kiss, or kill me? I hate it here. I like the track already. I'm gonna have to read the lyrics for this one to kind of dissect it a little bit better. But I do like the vibe. This is one of those songs where she's saying so many things and I'm like, I need to read the lyrics. Thank you, Amy. And K-I-M is capitalized. Kim Kardashian? Okay, anyways. Oh, I was not expecting this song. Oh my god. Oh, I can't with this song. I Look in People's Windows. It's a very like dainty, soft song. I like the style of this one. That's such a short song. The Prophecy. Ooh, I like some of the lines on this one. It's also got like a very like ominous feel to it almost. Definitely like gets to a lighter place musically. Next we've got Cassandra. Oh my. Another one where I feel like I need to study the lyrics. I feel like this is a Greek mythology reference. Peter! Is it gonna be a Peter Pan reference? I doubt it. Maybe. Wait, it is a Peter Pan reference? Isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oh, this might have to be my favorite. I love this already. The Bolter. I really like the backtrack for this one. Of course, she's got to throw a cat lyric in there. Of course. Robin. I like this one a lot in the manuscript. I think this is a bonus track that I didn't get to listen to last night, so. Song is kind of like heavy. Lyrically, it's very heavy. Adding that to the list of songs to dissect for sure. And with that, we've reached the end of the album. Hopefully the actual end of the album. I hope I don't like wake up tomorrow and she's like, surprise! Third album at 3 a.m. But who knows? Anything could happen. I will say that I liked the second part of the album much more than the first part of the album. Like, I loved those songs that I just listened to. And while I did really like the songs that I listened to last night, I feel like those songs are gonna have to like grow on me to kind of fall into a love place with them, whereas the songs that I just listened to, like, I'm immediately feeling them. I'm immediately in love with them. I'm eager to get a chance to re-listen to them. That is it for this reading vlog. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, whether you're a Taylor Swift fan or not. I still hope that you were able to find some enjoyment in this video. I'm gonna rank the books now from my favorite to my least favorite. I think my favorite has to go to Look What You Made Me Do. I was shocked by how much I enjoyed this one. I need to give more thrillers a go, so drop me some recommendations down below in the comments. Then I would say Call It What You Want. I was definitely not expecting to enjoy a YA romance, but here we are. And then unfortunately Wonderland comes in last. It was just a mess overall. Let me know down below in the comments if you have listened to the new Taylor Swift album and what your thoughts are on it. Let me know your favorite tracks down below in the comments. If you haven't listened to the album and you don't think you're gonna listen to the album, you can tell me what book you're currently reading. Let me know down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye-yo! Did you hear me scratching my leg? Because I was definitely just like aggressively scratching my leg.